Salut à tous. Nous poursuivons via visioconférence cette passionnante conversation avec Zaahirah Muthy, membre fondatrice de Zaahirah, qui évolue depuis une bonne dizaine d'années dans le domaine artistique à Dubaï. Artiste, mais également entrepreneur dans le domaine de l'art, la Mauricienne Zaahirah Muthy évolue depuis son pied-à-terre à Dubaï et enchaîne les projets artistiques à travers le monde. Ces projets, dont des expos et des activités artistiques, sont souvent à caractère social et contribuent à la responsabilisation et à l'autonomisation des couches vulnérables de la société et aussi des femmes. Zaahirah Muthy est aussi l'une des fondatrices de Zaahirah, une compagnie qui vise à encadrer les artistes en leur proposant divers services et formations. Zaahirah aura aussi organisé en 2019 la première édition de la MIAF ou Mauritius International Art Fair organisée au Kodan Art Center et ses alentours. Depuis la relance post-Covid à Dubaï, Zaahirah Muthy a aussi proposé sa toute dernière exposition solo à l'Alliance française à Dubaï intitulée A Glimmer of Hope. I'd like to come back to this initiative that you mentioned earlier about, art and sustainability. Is this an interesting time to be, for example, an artist who works with recycled material? First of all, from the perspective of sustainability, but secondly, from the perspective that, one, the economy is very uncertain, art material is very expensive, and in history we've known this phenomenon known as arte povera.
Absolutely. I mean, I embrace SDGs. Actually, we are collaborating with the United Nations in the United Arab Emirates, where we come up, we are curating an art show about the SDGs. So we have selected 17 artists from 17 different countries. Each artist are documenting their research work on one goal of the SDGs, like no to poverty and environment, education, gender equality, and so on and so on. So those series, the SDG series is going to be launched during the Dubai Expo 2020. Now coming back to Mauritius, I know there is a lot of research and a lot of NGOs that are advocating for environment and what's happening in the couple of years back in Mauritius. So I think it's the high time for artists, as you mentioned, that, we don't need to be using just traditional canvas, paint and brush. And we need to be creative, be out of the box. And if you attend the exhibition that we will launch next week, you will see how artists are making lots of money by using plastic bottle, which is trash. I mean, how we turn waste into something, into a prestigious asset. So how waste are transformed and into art. This is something that we totally embrace, and we are encouraging artists as well. So the idea is, and I would like here to invite all Mauritians to check out this exhibition. This will definitely inspire you to come up with creative, innovative, and think out of the box. So you don't need to think traditionally that you come up with an exhibition with paint and so on. So use the material that you have. When I did my solo during the pandemic, by the way, I just want to highlight this. I didn't have too much canvas And I didn't know I'm going to create a collection of 40 pieces. So what I did is I reused my old canvas, had a lot of canvas, of course, or lots of artwork. So I used art that I've been doing for 3, 4, 6 years, and I repainted on the same. So, you know, it's kind of saving the environment at the same time. Also, I would like to highlight that I'm coming up with a very big project in Mauritius. We started working on it actually, but unfortunately with the lockdown, we couldn't launch it. It was supposed to launch next week in June. So it's going to be a massive project. It's an iconic project in one of the roundabouts of Mauritius. So I'll let the surprise come in the coming month. So you will see how art will change the landscape of the art scene in Mauritius.
How do you think that art can still have a social impact, especially now because it's a difficult economic situations. Maybe some artists are finding it interesting that they have time to create, but on the hindsight, the flip side, there are also people who are losing jobs, losing livelihoods. How can art intervene in this particular context?
I am a strong believer that art is a catalyst for social change. We had a conference during MIAF when we had the premiere edition, where we talk about how art can add value and bring changes in a society. And I'm a firm believer as an artist and both as a curator as well, that it does make a difference. World Environment Day is decreed by the United Nations, celebrated annually on 5th of June since 1974, with the primary aim to engage and encourage global awareness to take action for protecting our environment. I think artists can really contribute to the society. I mean, they can pick up, there is lots of things happening. For example, we don't need to talk on the negative, but we can spread happiness, we can spread a message of healing, we can spread a message of empowerment. But at the same time, we need supporters to support these artists, because if we don't have people to appreciate what they are doing, they will not have encouragement, they will not be able to sustain. So here I would like to call for private sectors to encourage artists in Mauritius, to help them, to invest in them, to create more. Because when those artists have the supports at their back, they will be more confident and they will create more. Art comes from the heart, it comes from the mind, soul. It's an emotional, artists are emotionally connected. They need to feel the connection in between the pieces and a cause that they strongly believe in. So we need those private sectors, NGOs, the policymaker, to encourage the artists, buy from our local art scene and exhibit them. Come when there is exhibition, come, attend, visit, talk with the artists, discover the artists, interact with the artists, and this will add value.
You've been recently nominated as, an influential woman entrepreneur. as an artist, you've chosen obviously art as your core business, so to speak. So is it important to you that your action in art and creativity gets this recognition as being an important example of entrepreneurship?
As you said, I've recently been nominated among the 12 African female businesswomen in the UAE. It is such a great accolade and prestigious recognition for all the work that I have been doing for the past, I don't know how many years now. I mean, I painted as an artist, I painted since a very young age. And I would like to highlight also for all the parents who's watching me tonight. You know, when I was small, I remember I always paint on the wall of my house, and my parents would never stop me. They will not tell me that, you're spoiling the walls and so on. So, I mean, perhaps if they stopped me that time, I would not be an artist, and I will stop painting. And I remember my room was full of painting from the floor to the ceiling. I was always sticking my pieces of work, and I feel so proud about it. So I think these little things in a life of a child has a significant importance that we need to cherish. Coming back now with this award, as I mentioned, art and business is two separate things, because artists, they can be a great artist, but they don't need to be necessarily a successful business person. They create, but as I mentioned earlier, they need to have a series of skills. But I was very lucky to be able, as a curator, and to shift from change the hat of an artist curator and to set the arts as a company. When I started back in 2012, I started with only 10 artists in the UAE. And today I'm so happy and proud to say that with my 3 Ps, passion, patience, and persistency, today's the arts have over 700 artists registered with us from across the world, not necessarily in Dubai and Mauritius, but from across the world. So we have, I have been working really hard. I believe in my passion. I believe in what I'm doing. Of course, there is lots of challenges along the way, but my motto is I never give up.
Why would an artist want to be registered with you? What guidance do you offer?
It's absolutely free to join the arts. There is no fees to join us. We just include your email address and you're part of our family. So you receive all the potential exhibition or events happening, whatever. I mean, before COVID, we were moving around. We were moving a lot. We also host exhibition in Paris, in Georgia, in Lebanon, and so on. So people know about those exhibitions and then they registered with us to participate. So it's absolutely free. You can follow us on our Instagram, The Arts Gallery, or Facebook, The Arts Gallery. We have also a page for MIAF, Mauritius International Art Fair, where we featured artists there. Also, how we help artists, we have this empowerment program, Artist Empowerment Program, which was a physical training program. But now with the COVID, we are still thinking if we need to shift it and to make it digitally, and we can access artists from across the world, from Mauritius as well, can access this program with us. And also other things, we do solo exhibitions. So we help artists to come up, and we encourage artists to come up with the first solo exhibition. So we help them to craft their bio, to check the art statement, to curate the whole exhibition, as well as we invite our network when there is a physical exhibition happening. Also, we have a platform on our online gallery, theartsgallery.com. So you can check those galleries, artists can register and have access on it. So I think there is a lot. Also, there is a pool of knowledge sharing when you join the arts, because then you get to know other artists, you get to interact with other artists. For example, when we did the Art Connects Women, it's an annual event here in Dubai. So we're doing our 5th edition next year in March. I told you earlier that we had 100 female artists from 100 different countries. So these artists, they come from different network, different background, different nationality, different colors, different ethnic group, different age group, different cultures, yet they all speak the same language, and it's the language of art. One artist from Afghanistan, she came last year. She don't speak English, I don't speak Farsi, and it was, don't think it was challenging. It was so beautifully how we connected like sisters, you know. It's like the way, I mean, not only with me, but with all the artists, how those artists, they connect within themselves, and some artists, they build up a group project. So after the show, the network, they have their own WhatsApp group and so on. So they create collective project out of, you know, something different. So this is the beauty of why joining the arts. You get to have an international exposure, but at the same time, you meet artists from across the world.
There are different types of art. Some of it is very political, some of it is very aesthetic. What do you think is a fundamental quality that makes an artwork stand out, where maybe an art collector can be moved by it and you know, be tempted to acquire it?
I think art is very personal, and each artist has their own way of seeing things. But at the same time, from an art collector perspective, it depends on also it's the same, it's very personal. So some art collectors, they will hook with something, you know, very basic, or another one with an art that has a political message, and other one is more aesthetic. So you have a variety. I mean, I'm talking, being in Dubai, Dubai is a cosmopolitan society. So you've got people from, you know, around the world here. And again, it depends also on the background of where the people come from. For example, if you have a collector from Europe, they are more into the history. If you have somebody from Pakistan or from India, they have different, you know, expectation. They want something different. So it depends on where the collector come from, and at the same time, I think it's very personal. I have one collector recently who bought from an artist, which I curate her exhibition. She collects art, but she always collects female art. Okay, so but that time there was like female art, like a female portrait, I would say, not female artist. So she saw something like an African man, and it was just like, you know, he told me, Zaahirah, I think I'm going to buy this one because I don't have any men in my house, like men arts. And I was like, yeah, so this is something that, you know, it's very personal. I just curated an exhibition for a Mauritian artist 2 days back, Hercule Todoros. He has a very strong concept, a very strong message. So what Hercule do, he advocates for animals, right? So we always see animals in cages in the zoo. So the message is very strong, what he portrayed. And so what he portrayed is he depicts celebrities like Bombale, Lady Gaga, and so on. So he changed them, like he changed the portrait and he made them celebrities. So it's kind of, I love this concept, and it's very humanly engaged. I would say strong message. So the idea is, I would say the message of each pieces is really important, and it depends on the collectors. Some people, they just fell in love with the colors or the concept. Another one will say, oh, I love the message behind it.
how do you foresee this, how do you say it, the relance, reprise? Galleries in the world are starting to open, but
Yes.
maybe with very specific measures, you know. So how is it going, and where do you see it go? How do you see the reconstruction phase?
Well, I can see la lumière au bout du tunnel. So, as you said, things are picking up slowly but surely. You know, we just need to adapt with the new norms, social distancing, wearing of masks, and, you know, but I think art has been resilient, art has survived, and art remains a connector forever. And don't forget that art is an asset. So I would really encourage people to look at art as an asset. It's not just a piece of aesthetic on the wall, or it's just not something that, you know, people, it's a part-time or it's a passion. So look at art as an asset because it has a lot of value. And you will see the future will teach us how the art scene is changing. And instead of people invest now in properties, in goals. So think about art as your next investment.
Thank you very much, Zaahirah Muthy. I think that this closes this session. Do you think that the trauma of COVID-19 and this whole thing with masks, is this good source for art, or do you think the world wants to forget this? Do you think people don't want to have something in their room that reminds them of this? Is it time for positive art rather than traumatic, you know, heavy?
Art has a very, very significant impact. When you put something on your wall, I always tell my collectors that you need to make sure that that's something that you put on a wall. Either it can generate energy, bring, you know, positivity in the room, or it can boost, it can push your energy down because, you know, you don't want to wake up every day and feeling tired and feeling, you know, now I'm talking from an art therapy perspective because colors and shapes and message is really important. So you don't want to be feeling low down and remember those experiences. Of course, the impact is long lasting for children, for adults, for schools, for anybody, everybody. But we need to overcome it, and I'm sure art will help. You know, I'll just share something. When I did my solo again, we didn't get the chance to talk about it. The message about my solo was that the theme of the exhibition was a glimmer of hope. And the color that I have been using, it's a very vibrant color, pink, yellow sky. I paint my place where I stay in Mauritius. So it was, and also it brings me back to my childhood with very playful form and funky, you know, it's just a happy feel. And it's not me at all. My work is never like this. But COVID has really changed my whole way of seeing things. And I feel confident and I love it. And I enjoy the journey of painting this collection, A Glimmer of Hope. Et pour moi, j'étais tout le temps dans bleu, turquoise et tout. Je ne sais pas si vous avez vu mes tableaux avant, but pendant Covid, ça m'a poussé de. I would never imagine I would do a pink sky or you know, it's just, I just challenged myself and it was very, very well received.
Voilà qui nous amène à la fin de cette conversation avec Zaahirah Muthy, plasticienne mauricienne vivant à Dubaï et fondatrice de The Arts. Invitation à la découverte pour clore cette émission. Voici un lien et un code QR qui vous mènera à une version virtuelle de l'expo solo de l'artiste et cet autre lien et code QR qui vous mène à la page de The Arts. Clap de fin pour cet épisode. À bientôt pour d'autres explorations autour de l'art et de la relance artistique dans le nouveau normal. Gardez le moral et tenez bien la ligne.